What's up, guys? Chris at Dentless Touch with another PDR Workshop podcast. As always, we have Dave O.
What's up, guys?
And this topic today, we're going to talk about finding a location, the difficulties that we are having as we try to expand our Alexandria location. And we didn't think we were going to we were stumbled this hard on this task, to be honest. We opened the door for or the funds to allow the
Expansion.
more opportunity.
Yeah.
But it seems like that's not it. So we're going to talk a little.
doesn't want it. We open the doors; they're kind of closing it.
Still
Unfortunately,
closing, yeah.
The city is not allowing certain things to happen, and just making it very difficult for us to expand within the same town that we've been in for years now. So what we're looking for now is going to be having to possibly go somewhere else. We're not, this is still kind of up in the air, and we kind of go over some of the things that we're coming across when finding, a new location or, looking to expand our current one.
Mm-hmm. And we thought it was to be a good episode. Maybe I know a lot of guys, it makes more sense to be in a major city, and they have zoning laws that you have to abide by, and we figured that maybe somebody's in the same situation as us, and we're just going to brainstorm kind of together for the next, couple minutes, and hopefully help you guys make a decision and help us kind of work through our
and I think we get a lot of questions too from other technicians, other business owners as well. How do you do some of these what some people would call, kind of, I don't want to say simple things, because they're not simple. They're actually very intricate. You can say, hey, I'm getting a shop. Okay, yeah, that's cool. There's so much on the back end from getting a shop that's required. It can be sometimes pretty daunting task to just get all of that taken care of, to really get up and running with that shop. And so kind of I don't know, honestly, maybe go step by step. Yeah. So far with what we've done, and like you said, I think first step was allocate the funds, right? So know this is going to cost money to either expand or find the new shop. Yeah. So we went ahead, and that's key, right? This is step one, because you're gonna have to be paying for permits, possible reconstruction, deconstruction, buying new stuff for the shop, all types of. There's gonna be so many different little odds and ends that are gonna need to be paid for. So allocating a set amount of funds for this new venture is, I think, probably step one, and probably the most important one. That's just my opinion. I know you can start this process without funds, right? You can at least start to nail some of these things down and do it kind of step by step. But I am kind of I'd rather make sure that there's going to be the least amount of headaches through this whole thing. And if it's going to just cost money, that it's already there. Here you go. How much? Let's just take care of it. Can we just get the next thing going? That's just kind of how I roll. So I'd rather allocate the funds first, get them all set, ready to go. Okay, cool. What's step two? Now let's look. And that's kind of what we started doing next.
And just put things in perspective. Around here, they're roughly around $14, $15 a square foot, and I think it's called triple net. So we were paying the taxes and all the the amenities and stuff like that, and so it ends up being around $2 to $3 more. So right around $16, $17 a square foot is what we're looking at to give you guys. So it's super expensive. For even a 1,500 square foot building, you can pay $2,500, $2,600 just for a 1,500 square foot building.
And I think size for what we do, it's just going to be kind of dependent on your current volume.
Right.
I know for us that we are looking at spaces where there are some spaces we have looked at where we can fit every car we get in here for all week. And it's fine, right? Yeah. Then we have some spaces where we're kind of sacrificing certain things for space, or we're sacrificing, space for something else. And so these are just kind of some of the things that we've written down. What are we looking for? What are we willing to go ahead and kind of forego? And I'm looking for a certain word here, but what are we kind of willing to not be as important? Right. As some of these other things. So we're just making a list of pros, cons of certain locations, why certain places will work, why they wouldn't work, and kind of going from there. And, trying to stay in the current town that we're at has been the biggest issue. And Chris, you can kind of elaborate more, from kind of when the shop started, and then now years later, now they won't let it, kind of anything, but I'll let you go ahead and kind of explain on that.
Yeah, so we've been in Alexandria for roughly 8 or 9 years, and we've always been called Dentless Touch of Alexandria. And so we have roughly I'd say about 1,600 square feet now. But we kind of share that space a little bit with the detailer from time to time. And we kind of want our own space, a little bit bigger, obviously. So we're looking somewhere around 25 to 3,000 square feet. And so we can do just other things other than just retail pushing. We want to start getting into some wholesale and some other options for us. And so we're right around 3 to 3,500. But the issue we're running in at Alexandria is as we try to get the building next door, which would have been ideal, they rezone the area, pretty much the entire Alexandria. They rezone the area to what they say is I-4, which puts us, which I recently discovered, we're I-5. And so as I go down to the courthouse, I'm trying to pull the permit, or at least see the permit can get pulled before I sign on the dotted line for a 3 or 4 year lease. I'm held, obligated to pay this for the next, 3
You're
or 4 years.
responsible, yeah.
Yeah, so I do what I need to do on my research to go down to courthouse. And anyway, so they then told me that I'm I-5. So I said, what does that mean? I don't know what it means. So I am categorized as a body shop. And so I'm like, oh, that can't be good because they deal with paint. They do all this kind of environmental issues. And I know a lot of potential places, properties do not allow automotive.
Because I'm sure you had the conversation with the person right there and they say, hey, what do you do? Or what is your business? And of course, when we tried to explain it to them, I'm sure they probably didn't really understand.
No, they didn't.
As the majority of our customers don't, and we always have to educate. And that's just the nature of our business. We're always educating on this service that it is available, right? And so you're telling this person at the courthouse who has no idea, who's given permits probably all day long, construction, this and that, blah, blah, blah. Okay, hey, I want, I'm looking to start a business in the, in the city of Alexandria. Okay, this is what you need, blah, blah, blah. You give her all that stuff. Oh, well, so what do you do? And, you tell her, it's like, oh, yeah, I don't know because you're this. And you're like, no, I'm not that. I'm not this.
Well, they ask you certain questions, right? So they say, do you work on the panel, outside panel of the car? And so because we work on the outside panel, we consider it I-5, just automatically.
Off the bat. That's it.
So, I mean, you might as well put us in.
So if you did anything to a vehicle on the outside of it, you are classified as body shop.
Body shop. Yep. That is
regardless of us being eco-friendly, no painting. Nope. We're not doing anything with fluids. We're not doing anything with, chemicals. Even with all of these things being the greenest, probably out of all of Auto Recon, right? Or close to it, they're still not allowing it, huh?
Nope.
Okay.
And so once I discovered it was I-5, I said, great, that's great information. Cool. Where can I get a I-5 shop? That's fine. I don't care what you categorize me. Just where can I go? And the only two options were horrible. They put all kind of basically environmental issue, like it's
wasted
a
management.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm around dump trucks and just nasty roads and just, I'm like, there's no way I can do that. So I said, well, what is a mechanical shop? Oh, it's I-4. And I said, well, what's available in I-4? Oh, the little nicer places, newer building, the parking's a little better. So that opens the door up. So he said, what you can do is you could file a petition, I guess, and defend yourself in court, and the judge will either, decide yay or nay that you fall between either I-4 or I-5. After talking to a few people, they said, that takes about a year process. I really don't have the year. But then with that being said, the fire marshal and the owner of the property, they tend to don't want to put, there's options for them not to put another automotive shop there. So even me finding a I-4 in the area that I want to be at, that's even going to be hard because a property management company could just deny it because they just don't want another automotive shop. From what they're telling me, that it messes with the soil contamination. So when they want to sell or want to loan or, loan against the property so they can build more, have capital, whatever the case may be, they do something called a soil sample on multiple areas. And because there's this automotive, the parking, this, that, and the third, they don't want any more automotive. They're staying away from automotive. This is just our area. So, but again, if you're in the city, they're probably rezoning like crazy. And I think they're rezoning because they know that cars are not going to be maybe as prominent as it is right now. I mean, I don't know why they rezone, but they're not looking next year. They're looking 10, 15 years down the road. And we all know, at least in this area, zoning has been the stepchild of, or just not on their priority list, I would say. So they really got a big issue with the zoning. They really are trying to restructure that.
So yeah, in our search here, this is definitely one of the biggest issues that we've come across so far, and this is the beginning of the search, right? So, when Chris came to me with this news about, I think you took like a whole day, and it's like, hey, I got to take care of this stuff, and going to the courthouse, checking with the buildings, calling people. I'm like, that is, pretty grueling all day long on the phone back and forth and stuff. So I said, okay, so now what are our options if we can't have PDR in the city that we currently service? And just to expand within that same city, what can we do?
Yeah, so we looking at our complaints that what customers have when they come into our building, and it's really like ease of use right off the highway. Obviously, just the common things that we want out of a location.
Those are the good things they say.
Right, that's the good things to say, and then the bad things, obviously, that. Hey, I can't find you the signage. There's an issue with the county with getting permits for even signage. It's certain height and all kinds of stuff, size that you can have. And for someone that is possibly 30 feet away trying to on the road, they only allow a very small sign. So that is kind of the biggest complaint. And so we were looking for shops that, for one, keep a clean parking lot right off the Beltway or off of a great landmark, Walmart or something like that we can kind of reference off of, and still be in Alexandria. Now, what is looking now is that every option in Alexandria, the ones that we like are $20 a square foot, and then you add the triple net, and then you start to be around the $25 a square foot. So that's a little out of our price range. So it seemed like we have to push on the outskirts where almost every single industrial business is, and so it becomes just a mess. A lot of tractor trailers. It just looks industrial, and that is our option because we get the square footage that we need, we get the price that we need. You tend to get a little bit of a parking, kind of ease of use on the parking, but you're also around other automotive. Mm-hmm. So if it's in high demand, when you have a lot of mechanical shops or body shops around you, they do absorb a lot of that parking. And so it makes the entire facility just look kind of unkept, I should say.
So for that, the price is on point. Location is decent. The space that we're looking at is pretty spot on for what we're looking for. And then so some of the cons were just maybe it's not as aesthetically appealing when you're driving up, right? And maybe that ease of access because it's not right off the Beltway could be a con as well. So, there's a couple things that we are going to be sacrificing, I think, for, a newer location for the expansion, So
that's what it's looking
like. I think in that case, our goal at that point is just to really market and educate the customer, not only on PDR, but also how to get to us, right? Because we're going to be kind of tucked away because that's just the cities, how the cities are kind of going around here. They're just kind of tucking away automotive, industrial, anything that's just large and heavy duty. Mm-hmm. They're kind of sticking them in a corner, and that's the way it is. They're not allowing any automotive kind of on main roads and stuff like that, which I can, I can completely understand, but it's just unfortunate because of our type of business. We're not like them.
Now, if you're able to pay $25,000 a month, you got more options. Yes. But when you're trying to stay within under $5,000, that is the options are very limited.
We could have one big shop, but we have multiple locations. So we're trying to, we have a lot of other moving parts. If it was just the two of us pushing X amount of dollars every single month, day in and day out, we could probably have 25 a square foot. Yeah, no problem. It's fine. Just stack up the month and that's it. Go. But it doesn't work like that. That's not how our business moves. We have a lot of moving parts within it. So there's a lot of things that cost money, not just the Alexandria shop, but other shops as well. Technicians to support and stuff like that. So making sure that this new shop is hitting our criteria has been kind of a challenge, I think. Mm-hmm. We're slowly getting towards really finding what we're looking for.
And I think mentally, we're going from Alexandria to probably a different town. This is maybe about 4 miles up the road, but it's where we have a lot more options that better suit us and for the customer.
No.
And we just are really just taking you on this journey. I mean, we're right on the stage, right on the cusp right now of like signing a lease right now. We're trying to choose between about 2 or 3 different locations. And so that's where we're at. We're going to walk you through, this is part 1 of however many parts we're going to do. But anybody that is having these challenges, I want to just, share with you our experiences, and we're going through the same thing. And if we can, help you, if this podcast helped you, that's kind of the purpose of us having this discussion. So I want to thank everybody for listening. Thank our sponsors, Blim Tools, Mobile Tech RX, and Dentcraft Tools, guys. Again, if you want to support our show, please just head over there to their website. If you see anything that you seem interesting or want to try out, go ahead and purchase through them, and it really greatly helps us out on our end. Thanks, guys, for listening, and we'll see you on the next show.
See ya.
Peace.